street smart.
To get stops and have a defensive mindset in the fourth quarter was very problematic. I mean, again, the numbers speak for themselves. 36 points in the fourth quarter on 69% is going to make it really hard to win a game in the NBA Finals.
Last two over here.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. You said Jamal got a good look at it. Did you at all consider calling a timeout there, or do you like it when it's in transition and you can kind of scramble the defense and maybe catch them a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's dependent upon the situation, and their half-court defense was giving us a lot of trouble in that fourth quarter, and you take a timeout, you let them get set, you let them review whatever play they think that we're going to run, and there's a great chance that we don't get a quality shot like Jamal got, which was online and, from my perspective, looked like it had a great chance of going in. And we've seen Jamal make shots like that before. So some nights, I think, we can take the timeout. Other nights, give our guys the freedom to get out and run. But with how well they were guarding in that quarter and how hard it was for us to generate great looks, I felt in that transition we were going to have the best chance to get the look that we wanted.
Last question, Michael, second row here.
Michael Pino, The Ringer. 28 shots and a postseason low, 4 assists for Jokic. Was that something Miami did defensively or just guys missing shots?
Well, probably a combination. You have to give them credit. And we scored 108 points, 52 from the field, 14 turnovers for 19 points. That's a concern in the fourth quarter, 4 for 10. But I trust Nicole. He's going to read the game. He's going to read how he's being guarded. And he's also going to pick his spots where he knows, regardless of how he's being guarded, we need him to score and be aggressive and look to score. So whether it's 41 points, only 4 assists, or it's 25 points and 15 assists, Nicole, the one thing I trust about him is that he's going to make the right read time and time again.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.
Jamal will be up next.
Coach will start in the back of the room, fourth row. Yes, Tim Reynolds, excuse me.
I didn't have my hand up. Spoke, can you take us into the fourth quarter huddle? And I know that's being in that spot is a place where you guys have gotten obviously very comfortable this year, but the mindset, knowing the stakes of the next 12 minutes, what was said in that huddle?
I don't totally remember. I think we were talking about some schematics. It was more about that. This is complex. Basically, every other huddle we're talking about, what it's going to require and all those extra efforts and physical plays without fouling, just making winning plays. But I think at that time we were talking about some schematics. This is a really good, offensive team. They force you to have to compete at a super high level, but you have to do it with a brain and you have to do it with discipline. And our guys, regardless of how the head coach feels like during the fourth quarter, our guys love to compete. They love to put themselves out there in those moments of truth. And fortunately, we were able to make a lot of big defensive plays, down the stretch, and then we got a lot of contributions, which you're going to need against a team like this. That some of that run happened with JB on the bench. Their run in the second quarter happened with Jokic on the bench. But Duncan's minutes were really good. Kyle just has this veteran championship experience that just kind of settles everybody, and he just makes the big appropriate plays or big plays at the appropriate times. And then bam, we just can't say enough of how difficult his responsibilities are in this series. To take arguably the toughest cover in the league for all the myriad of reasons that I don't need to get into. And then he has to shoulder a big offensive role for us as well. So it's not like he can just stand and rest on the offensive side. And yes, he has to play 40-plus minutes as well.
We're going to stay on the right side, fourth row.
Anthony Chang, Miami Herald. You guys have had a bunch of really, really impressive shot-making games this postseason. But tonight, what did you feel like you guys did better as far as the offensive process, especially in that fourth quarter?
More intentional. And that doesn't guarantee you anything either. But at least you give yourself the best chance that the ball's going where it needs to go. Everybody understands what we're trying to get accomplished. And then you have to trust. You have to trust each other. So we did get some relief points on cuts and extra passes, ball movement that led to open shots, and then, yes, it always looks better if the ball goes in. But our guys are competitors. They love those kind of moments.
We're going to go to left side, fifth row.
Well, Nick Friedel, ESPN. I know mental toughness has been a bedrock of the organization for a few decades, but why do you think this team has shown to be so resilient over and over?
Well, we've talked about it in all the previous 3 series, Nick. So I feel like I'm being redundant, but we've faced a lot of adversity during the season, and we handled it the right way, where you're not making excuses about it, the injuries, the changing lineups, and because of all that adversity and the 57 close games that happened, due to a lot of that, that it hardened us, it steeled us, and we developed some grit, which is what we all want, right? We want to be able to have that privilege of having adversity, and being able to overcome it. You gain strength from that. But this is a very tough opponent. They have our full respect for sure.
We're going to stick to the left side, second row.
Coach Ryan McFadden from the Denver Post. In Game 1, you mentioned Max Strus is ignitable despite the poor shooting effort he had in Game 1. Just how pleased were you the way he got going early in the first quarter to kind of set the tone for you guys?
Yeah, of course, like everybody's going to be looking at that final number. How many threes did he hit? But he's a winning basketball player. He does winning things defensively. He's physical. He's in the right spots. He's a great block-out guy. He's also a guy that'll come in and help rebound. If you give him a task, he'll do it. And that's winning basketball. Offensively, yeah, it's always great to see the ball go in, but Max has also proven that he can impact winning, regardless of whether the ball's going in. He puts in more time than he probably should, He's a masochist like all of us, and he's always going to put in the time. He's ignitable, and we needed every bit of what he did tonight.
Right side, first row.
Coach Ronendo from Israel today. Before the series, we spoke to Caleb Martin. Speaking about you and Coach Riley, said you're at your best after defeat. Can you run us through your playbook in those situations?
I don't even know how to answer that. It's not about me. This group, we've faced tough times this year, and so we've learned how to handle setbacks, things not going our way, and then just getting to work instead of getting distracted or making excuses or feeling sorry for ourselves. So it's like a muscle, that you work on and you get better. So we've had we've had more experience at this than anybody else in the league. We've had a lot of crushing losses, during the regular season.
We're going to go to the back room, left side, Mark Spears.
Coach Mark Spears, ESPN's Landscape. Just talk about Gabe Vincent, his output tonight, and also just how incredible his story has been.
Yeah, we love Nnamdi. We really do. If you don't know that, the national media, because you're not following us, please look that up. Nnamdi, he's a special guy. He really is. He was with us in the bubble as a two-way guy, and he took on the toughest role change for a young player. He was a gunslinger, two-guard. We wanted to develop him into a combo guard, somebody that could organize us, be an irritant defensively, tough, but learn how to facilitate and run a team. I think that's the toughest thing to do in this league is turn a 2 into a 1. And he openly just embraced that. And then he struggled, at times with that because you're trying to reinvent yourself. And instead of saying, this is too tough, let me be me, he's really grown the last 3 years. He's just an incredible winning player. And this year, he's been a starter for us. He's been great. He's been off the bench. He's been great. And I think he's like a lot of our guys, the competitive spirit, and you get challenged like we're getting challenged in this series. You hope that it brings out the best in you, and that's what it's doing with him. Okay.
First row, left side.
Hey, Coach, Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. Just as a follow to that, what do you think has basically spurred his growth?
Are you talking about Namdi, Gabe? I would say, that old saying that we use a lot. People severely overestimate what you can get accomplished in a day, and they grossly underestimate what you can get accomplished in a matter of months, years, when nobody's paying attention. And he's the epitome of that. Okay?
On the right side, fourth row.
What about this matchup led to you making the starting lineup change, and what did you like about the way they set the tone there in both halves, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it was a lineup change. I get what you're saying. We just went back to our original lineup. We went with this lineup for 14 games. I didn't have the foresight. I didn't. That's on me. We had to make an adjustment in that Boston series, and that really was necessary, and it worked. And then we're facing a new opponent that we don't really know, and so we just went with what finished that previous series. But we've been 10-4, 11-4 now with this lineup. And clearly we needed that size and veteran experience and physicality that K-Love brings. I don't know how many minutes. I don't have my glasses, so I don't know the stats, but that veteran experience, the decorated championship level experience that K-Love and Kyle both brought tonight, there's not an analytic that can show you how valuable that was. Okay.
Final question on the left.
Hey, Coach. Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. This is probably oversimplifying things, but sometimes when teams play against Jokic, you turn him into a scorer, you turn him into a passer, and he controls the game. He only had 4 assists tonight.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's just, that's the untrained eye that says something like that. This guy's an incredible player. Twice in 2 seasons, he's been the best player on this planet. You can't just say, oh, make him a scorer. That's not how they play. They have so many different actions that just get you compromised. We have to focus on what we do. We try to do things the hard way. And he requires you to do many things the hard way. And he has our full respect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, we'll take questions around the room. We've got the boom mics. Please raise your hand. Michael, right here in the front on 2.
Jamal, Mike Singer, Denver Post. Heat outscored you guys 36-25 in the fourth quarter. What do you think? Where do you think the defensive breakdowns were?
From the start of the game, I just think we didn't communicate well on their screens, and we're giving them open shots, giving them back doors or pocket passes. We just weren't as disciplined as we need to be at this stage of the season. So we just got to be better all around, I think, for 4 quarters, not just that last quarter.
On your right, Brandon.
Hey, Jamal, Brandon Cristal, KOA here in Denver. Coach came out, and the first thing he wanted to touch on was effort, and said he talked to you guys about that. Why do you think the effort was an issue, at least in his mind?
I don't know. They just played hard, and like I said, it was more discipline. It's defeating when you're giving up mistake after mistake, and it's not, them beating you. You're giving them open dunks or giving them open shots. So that's tough to come back from, and we've got to stay together and look ahead.
On your right, Vinny.
Vinny Benedetto with the Denver Gazette. Jamal, prior to tonight, the last time you guys lost was Nicola's 53-point night in Phoenix. Tonight he has 41 and another loss. Do you see that as being a coincidence, or do you feel like there's things you guys need to do better to take advantage of his big scoring nights?
No, it's I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's defense and discipline. Like I said, we just got to have an all-around game. We can't just have spurts of, second quarter good, end of the third good. We can't have spurts of good play. We got to play all the way through the ups and downs, stay together and play with intensity and energy. And I don't think we had that. We just we just piled them on, mistake after mistake, and we weren't able to come back for that. Even when we're up, it felt like we're trying to climb back into the game, just energy-wise and intensity-wise.
Second row center.
Harrison Wynn, DNVR. Jamal, that last shot that you took end of the game right there, what did you just think of that look, and do you like not calling a timeout there and just trying to create something within the flow of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have seen me hit that shot enough, so it was a good look, just didn't go down.
Chris in the front, you got the mic coming.
Chris Thomas in Denver Gazette. You guys have been so good at home in the playoffs, 9-0, outscoring foes by an average like 11.9 points a game. Are you surprised to lose at home, and especially with them having closing the game the way they did?
If we play like that, then we expect to lose like that. Yeah, I mean we can't play like that. So if we play away, home, on the road, doesn't matter. We gotta have a better showing.
Next question, standing on the right. Hold on one second.
All right. Do you think Jokic only 4 assists in the game were a factor in the loss?
What'd you say?
Jokic only had 4 assists in the game. Do you think that was a factor in the loss?
No. He had 41 points. He's doing a lot. Yeah, he played a great game.
Any last question? Thank you, Jamal.
Yep.
First question down on the right, first row.
Hey, Duncan. Shane Young with Forward Sports. Coach was saying it's hard to overstate how difficult Bam's responsibilities are in this series. Curious, what has he meant for you guys and you specifically as a playmaker?
Yeah, I mean, Bam is the heart and soul of what we're doing on both ends. Sets a tone for us defensively with his versatility and just making it difficult, usually on team's best player a lot of times, especially in this series. And then offensively, he does a lot, gets people open, a lot of stuff that doesn't show up in box scores, screens, assists, all that sort of stuff. And also when he's aggressive, it's usually when we're at our best. So he's been huge.
We're going to left side, third row.
Cooper Moorhead, Heat.com, Dunk. They looked like early in the second quarter they were kind of blowing up your bread and butter actions with Bam. Then it flipped in the fourth. So what changed with your pick and roll and handoff actions with Bam to let you get free?
Yeah, first off, just kind of having an approach and a disposition to not kind of just let them take me out of what we're trying to do. So that's a start. And also just kind of doing it with a brain as well. And, not just going out there mindlessly and just trying to run off a handoff, but instead just being a little bit more patient, a little bit more thoughtful with it. So, was able to get open in large part because of good screens and good passing.
On the right side, fourth row.
Tim Reynolds, Associated Press. Dunk, do you remember anything specific that was said in the huddle going into the fourth? I mean, you guys have kind of lived in that sorry, Dunk.
My bad. I was.
You guys have kind of lived in that situation all year, having to pull games out late. It's like second nature for you guys. Was there anything special about that huddle, or was it just more of the same because it's kind of the story of your year?
Yeah, nothing that really sticks out. We got a lot of belief as a group, and to be honest, we liked the flow of the game and how it was going, and the fact that we felt like at times we really had it on our terms, and we're kind of making it difficult for them. So. That's important, but we knew they were a really good team, and we just needed to come out with a sense of urgency in that fourth. It was kind of like a now or never sort of thing. So started with the defense, obviously, and we were able to do some things from there.
First row, third seat.
Hey, Duncan, Wes Goldberg, Locked On Network. You mentioned sort of your patience moving off the ball, and I'm just curious if you could take us through that play. I think you finished kind of through Jeff Green on contact. That cut to the right side of the basket. Like, what were you seeing there? Is that something that's comes through that patience that you kind of just see those things open up as the play develops?
Yeah, just not always just running to the ball. Just trying to be a little bit more creative. It's something I've been working on for a little while now. It's a development thing. It's taken time to get to that point. But it makes it easier when you got guys that can find you in those situations. Because the cut is one thing, but the pass is really what makes it.
Left side, fifth row.
Hey, Duncan, Pat Graham, Associated Press. You didn't take a shot through 3 quarters, and then you had that stretch in the fourth where you couldn't miss. I guess, did you Did you find your rhythm then, or can you take us through that little stretch you had to kind of get this team back on track?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I hadn't done much in the first game, and then the first half of this game. We talk a lot about trying not to have empty minutes, so just trying to play with a certain level of aggressiveness on offense, just to at least be out there and have my presence felt. So obviously it helps when the ball goes in, which you can't always control, but just really about taking the right shots and just being aggressive.
Going to go to right side, fourth row.
Peter Brown with The Athletic. Duncan, I'm curious, Max Strus also had a tough game one. He comes out, makes a few big threes early. Just how encouraging was that for the team, and can seeing one guy get going be contagious for the rest of the roster?
Yeah, for sure. Max coming out like that was huge, and to be honest with you, we expected it. We know how great of a shooter he is, and when he came out and hit those shots early, I think it settled everyone a little bit, and from there, it's just about continuing to chip away. So we got a lot of belief in everybody that can step up and make shots.
The left side.
Man, ESPN. Duncan, after you went on that run in the fourth quarter, when you got the bucket just before the timeout, little flex, nice little, pretty impressive, I would say, mean mug there. What's going through your mind there? What are you feeling at that moment?
I surprised myself with the fact that I pulled that one out. That was not premeditated at all. That was a spur of the moment sort of thing. Truth be told, I don't get a lot of moments throughout the season to break that one out. So when you get one, you got to try to take advantage of it, I guess. But mostly just trying to, play with a certain level of joy. I feel like I play my best when I'm having fun, and I'm always going to try to be respectful with it, but having fun and enjoying just this stage. I mean, this is an incredible stage to be on as a player. This is what you dream about. So it doesn't make any sense to get here and not enjoy it.
Going to take two more questions. Third row, left side.
Ethan Skolnick, 5 Reasons Sports. Duncan, just to follow on that question, with everything that you've kind of dealt with over the past couple of years, in and out of the rotation, maybe confidence at times, how gratifying is it, and how much of sort of the emotion we've seen from you as a result of that? Contributing on this stage.
Yeah, it's certainly gratifying. It gives you a newfound perspective and appreciation just for opportunity and this journey, understanding that you kind of go through stretches where you're going to have challenges and you're going to have to deal with adversity and overcome it. And it's not always storybook in that sense, and you don't always get what you want, and just kind of learning how to deal with that and push through that. I think obviously it makes moments like this more enjoyable, but I think it also just makes you more grateful to have opportunities on this stage. So try not to take it for granted, and just go out there and enjoy myself and have fun, and try to help this team win games.
Final question, right side, second row.
Tyler King, Denver Gazette. Duncan, you mentioned kind of your struggles in the first game and a half of the series. Did a lot of that have to do with kind of the physicality that Christian Brown was showing on the other side? And kind of going off of that, how did you adjust? Is it about the mental aspect that allowed you to adjust there in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, he's a really good defender. Comes in and sets a tone just with kind of his speed and physicality. So there's going to be adjustments both ways. As an offensive player, you kind of got to adapt, and he's got to do the same. So just kind of continuing to learn and grow as you kind of gain experience throughout the series. But at the same time, I always try to fall on the side of being aggressive and flying off at things and making shots, just because that's what my team needs me to do.
Thanks, Duncan.
All right.
Going to start on the left side in first row.
Jimmy, good night. Congratulations. We are from TYC Sports from Argentina. You know that we are, you see the national team. I know that you like our country.
I do.
It's the Messi team, the Messi jersey. Maybe for you next time when you want. Maybe can you say something for the Latin American people that is with the Miami Heat now?
Yeah, we love all of our fans, especially Argentina. You got some great basketball players coming out of there. I love the country as a whole. I love football. It's probably my favorite sport. But like I said, we take our fans if we can get them over here in Miami, and we got a lot of love for everybody that supports us around the world.
We're going to go to the first row in the center.
Joe Varn, The Athletic. Hey, Jimmy. Can you take us through the last possession that Denver had and what you saw in Jamal's last shot?
I think he got off a decently good look, kind of like a high pick and roll isolation, and I just contested it. Pretty glad that he missed it. to give us a 1-1 series tie going back to Miami.
We're going to go left side in the back of the room. To Nick.
Jimmy, Nick Friedel, ESPN. You played on a lot of mentally tough teams over the course of your career. What is it about this specific team that makes them so resilient, especially in this run that you guys are on?
I just think nobody cares on our team. We're not worried about what anybody thinks. We're so focused in on what we do well and who we are as a group that at the end of the day, that's what we fall back on. Make or miss shots, we're going to be who we are because we're not worried about anybody else. It's how it's been all year long, and that's not going to change. So that's what I think it is. I think it's the I don't give a damn factor.
First row in center.
Hey, Jimmy, Wes Goldberg from Lockdown Network. It's not often that Jokic has more turnovers than assists. Like, what was the key defensively for you guys? What do you think bothered him?
Some ball pressure, getting back, getting our hands on loose balls, and just challenging every pass, every shot. I mean, he's a hell of a player. He passes the ball so incredibly well. Obviously, he can score the ball like he did tonight, but when we get the opportunity to turn the ball over and get out into the open floor, I feel as though we have to do that, and we did a decent job of that tonight.
We're going to go to the left side, fifth row on the end.
Jimmy, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. You guys got off to a really good start in contrast to game one, but they come and blitz you and go up 15. What's the feeling like during those timeouts when Denver is hitting shots and it feels like the game is slipping away early?
That's just part of the game. There's, a lot of teams in this league. It's definitely them. They got some big-time shot makers. But like I said, we're going to stay with it. We know who we are. We know what we're capable of. Get some stops. We can make some shots as well. And got the opportunity to turn the game around and get one on the road.
We'll go to the right side, fifth row.
Tim Reynolds, Associated Press. Jimmy, I think you guys, I might be off by one, but I think you guys scored on like 15 of 19 possessions in the fourth. The Nuggets don't blow fourth quarter leads in this building. They hadn't won a double-digit lead in this building all playoffs. What was the secret sauce down the stretch for you guys on the offensive end? I know it's about defense mostly, but what was it on the offensive end that worked late?
I don't think there's a secret sauce to it. I think we just move the ball, pass the ball to the open guy, and play some simple basketball, a lot like they do as well. And we made shots. That's what this league is. That's what this game is. Make or miss game, make or miss league. We made some shots. They didn't.
Left side, third row.
Jimmy Butler, Ethan Skolnick, 5 Reasons Sports. Gabe has made a lot of big shots over the past couple of years and run the offense here. How do you know when a guy can handle that kind of pressure when it's a teammate? Is it something you can see in practice? You have to see it in big games?
I see it every day. We talk about it, so I know how comfortable he is. I know the level of confidence that we have in him, that he has in himself, to go out there and run the offense at any point in time, first through fourth quarter, maybe even overtime. And we live with the decisions and the shots that he makes and takes. And he's our starting PG for a reason.
Last question on the right side, first row.
Jeremy Ronaldo from Israel Today. 3 years ago, it seemed like maybe it's unfair that it took you like 3 games to get into the series. Is it anything conscious that you changed coming into this one? Any lesson you learned?
Nope. Keep playing basketball as hard as I can, making plays for others, score whenever I get the opportunity to do so, and through all else, just find a way to win. I think we did that tonight as a group, and we'll continue to do that as a group.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, all right.
Gabe Vincent is approaching the stage. Gabe, we're going to start on the left side, third row.
Cooper Moorhead, Heat.com. Gabe, is this series similar to Milwaukee at all? Just you finding those comfortable shots against drop and just taking the shots and being confident?
I don't think so. I'd say no, just because Jokic switches up what he does in pick and roll a lot. They kind of keep you thinking. So I'm just trying to be aggressive and find my spots when I can.
We're going to go to the right side, second row.
Gabe, Tyler King, Denver Gazette. When Duncan has that run to start the fourth quarter and he ends it with the and one and is mean mugging to you guys on the bench, what does that do for you guys confidence-wise when after being down for so long, you're finally able to wrestle the lead back there?
Yeah, I mean, well, Duncan came in was a huge spark for us. You know, he's ignitable. You know, we got a number of guys that are like that, but he does it in a special way. And you know, when he starts cutting to the rim and finishing at the basket, it helps a lot too.
We're going to go to the left side, fifth row, David Aldridge.
David Aldridge, The Athletic. Gabe, fourth quarter, you guys made 9 of your first 10 shots, scored 11 of your first 14 possessions, and got into the penalty in 4 minutes. So what was really clicking those first 4 minutes in terms of ball movement, player movement?
Yeah, I think it was just the result of 48 minutes of doing it. You know, we just had to work the game, and we'll continue to do so and just try to continue to play good basketball.
Going to go back to the right side, second row.
So, Gabe, this is Will Gillard from the Athletic. What do you think, just we've seen over and over from you guys, what makes you so capable of getting knocked down and being able to come back stronger and respond the way you guys have over and over?
I mean, it's part of our DNA, for one. You know, everyone on this team has battled through adversity in some manner and been knocked down and had to get back up. And for number two, we got a lot of experience in these close games. So when it comes down to the wire, we're strangely comfortable.
We're going to go to the left side, standing.
Anthony Chang, Miami Herald. What do you think it says about this team that you're able to kind of switch Caleb and Kevin in and out of the starting lineup, and both those guys are kind of just plug in seamlessly into whatever role they're used in?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone that's got a jersey on is willing to give in to whatever we need to try to help us get a win. I think that helps a lot, whether it's Kevin and Caleb or Max or Duncan or myself or Kyle. You know, you go down the roster and guys are willing to just give in, and I think that's huge.
We're going to go to the right side, first row.
Hey, Gabe, Shane Young with Forward Sports. Coach was saying it's really impossible to describe how difficult the responsibilities Bam has in this series. How would you sum up his contributions and what you've seen in these first two games?
I think Spo said it well. It's hard to sum it up, but I mean, Bam's been great. He's been relentless. He's got a tall task, obviously matching up with Joker, and you know, we still rely on him and turn to him to do a number of things for us on both sides of the ball, and he's been stepping up.
We're going to go left side, third row.
Denver still had an offensive rating around 125, so it's pretty good for them. But when you guys are making your runs, especially in the fourth, what are you doing best on defense to kind of get them sped up a little bit?
I think just in general, we just competed harder today. I don't know if it was any direct scheme or direct thing we did outside of just being a little more intentional and a little more focused and playing just a bit harder, just competing a little bit more.
We're going to stay on the left side, fourth row, Steve Ashburn.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. Spo was in here talking about the progress that you had to make to go from basically a two-guard to a one-guard with different responsibilities, different role. And he said he thinks that's the toughest thing in this league. Can you tell us how that went for you? Was it steady progression? Did you have some hiccups along the way? How difficult was it for you?
I mean, it definitely wasn't easy. The staff was great working with me, whether it was film or getting in the gym. And my teammates have been phenomenal, coaching me up, telling me to be more aggressive when I'm questioning it or trying to think, should I pass first? And, you know, our stars, Jimmy, Kyle, Bam, they've just been in my ear and telling me just to play basketball. You know, they trust my IQ of the game and want me just to go out there and play hard.
On the right side, fifth row.
Gabe, you were obviously with the team in the bubble, but they weren't at home. Especially winning this game the way you did, what do you anticipate seeing and hearing and feeling Wednesday night?
It's going to be a different game entirely. I think every game will be different this series especially, and it'll be great to be back home to start with, being back in front of our fans. It'll be an awesome environment, great experience. You know, it's going to be a battle. You know, they're going to bring everything they got, and we better do the same.
Any more questions for Gabe?
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Mike, right here in the front.
Jeff, Mike Singer, Denver Post. Malone mentioned that he said he was surprised that he had to talk about effort in the post-game locker room.
Me too.
I mean, that's what I was going to ask. Are you perplexed that at this stage of the season that's even a talking point?
Yeah. I mean, it's the fucking finals, man. Like, our energy has to be better. We can't come out like we did, and you know, we have to be better.
Mateo up front.
Jeff, how much better does the team need to be defending and not biting in fakes?
I think it's all about discipline. We just have to be better. Discipline on the ball, off the ball, knowing our coverages, knowing what we're supposed to do, playing without fouling.
Brandon, standing on the right.
Brandon Cristal, KOA here in Denver. When you talk about, I guess, effort and discipline, how do you, I guess, amp that back up? I mean, or I guess how much needs to be said beyond the post-game locker room?
Nothing needs to be said at this point. I think we understand, especially after tonight, how we have to be. Like I said, it's the finals. I don't think we need a rah-rah speech in order to get us up. I think we know what we have to do going into Game 3.
Any other questions? Over here on the left side, third row.
Jenna Garcia, Clutch Points. Jeff, do you think that the Heat's strategy to make Joker a scorer and take him out of the passing game affected y'all's game? He only finished the game with 4 assists.
No. I think he did what he was supposed to do. When he had to be aggressive, he was aggressive. He makes the right play, and he sees the floor very well. I don't think what they did took him out of him getting an assist. If he's going to be aggressive like that, I mean, other guys can figure out how to be effective on the court. It's not about us just waiting around trying to get Joker to figure out how to get us the ball. We have to figure out how to be aggressive, and it starts with the defensive end, and then we carry that over to the offensive end.
Second row, Vinny.
Vinny Benedetto with the Denver Gazette. Jeff, the first, I guess, bench stint in the first half went really well for you guys. Start of the fourth quarter didn't go so well. What was the biggest difference between those two stretches for you?
They made shots. We didn't turn them over like we did in that first stretch, and that was the tale of those two halves. We didn't get the stops that we did. We didn't put the pressure on them. We wasn't aggressive enough on the defensive end, and we allowed them to get a groove, and that carried on to the fourth quarter, and that's how they got the win.
David, over here in third row.
Jeff, David Aldrich, The Athletic. I was going to ask you, you mentioned it a few seconds ago, do you think the inability to get stops defensively impacted you all offensively, or do you think the lack of movement offensively impacted you defensively?
No, I think it's the defense that impacted the offense. We allowed them to get comfortable with easy looks. Like I said, our discipline wasn't as great. Fouling jump shooters, allowing easy cuts. We wasn't ourselves tonight. Our communication has to be way better going into Game 3, and I think that was the reason they got out into the lead.
Last question, Mike here.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. Jeff, this is the first time you guys have lost at home all postseason. How confident are you that you guys will be able to regroup and shake this one off?
Well, I mean, we won on the road before. I think we understand what's at stake. And they did what they were supposed to do. They came in here, they got a split. Now they're going home, and I think we have to go in there worried about Game 3. We can't worry about Game 4. We have to worry about Game 3. We have to be better defensively. Our energy have to be better, and then get that win on when we play.
Thank you.
I forgot when we play Wednesday. There you go. So thank you.
Okay, we'll take questions around the room. First question here, Mike in the front.
Nicola, Mike Singer, Denver Post. Malone said he was surprised that you guys he was talking about effort in the post-game locker room. How concerned are you that effort is even in question at this stage of the season?
I mean, yes, of course, that's cannot be a question, but. We just didn't play well the right way in the fourth quarter. We scored 12 points. They scored 29. Oh, no, this is not good. Can I have it? Yeah. That didn't sound right. Yes, of course. They scored 36 points in the fourth quarter. That's too much, of course. And they got a couple of offensive rebounds. It was just happened to be like that.
Back right, second to last row.
Nicola, Jacob Toby with 9 News. How disappointing is it to lose at home for the first time in the playoffs?
I mean, we didn't want it to happen, of course, but it happened, so we're going to live with it. We are going to Miami to play another game, so.
Michael, over here on the left.
Michael Pina, The Ringer.
Nicola, you had a playoff low 4 assists tonight. Was that because of something Miami was doing defensively, or were your teammates just missing shots?
So I don't know. I don't think about assist or whatever. To be honest, I don't know the answer. I was just playing, and I don't think when I'm playing about the stats or whatever. So.
Brandon on the right.
Nicola, Brandon Cristal, KOA here in Denver. Coach talked about effort, and then Jamal said it was more discipline. How do you get that corrected, I guess, in short order before Wednesday?
I mean, just you need to know what to do, and we had a lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding. They were getting open looks, especially in the beginning of the game, and we have couple on the end of the game too. So you just need to know where to be or what to do, what's the coverage or whatever.
Tony in the middle, third row.
Nicola, Tony Jones from The Athletic. Do you guys feel that the offense, at the end of game one and at the end of tonight, kind of bogged down against the zone? And if that's the case, what are some of the adjustments that you guys can make for game 3?
I mean, the first game, I think we had. I said I miss mid-range shot. Jamal missed mid-range shot, and Mike missed corner 3. I think that's the shots that we want. We didn't make them. We didn't make those. And today, they just put us in their rhythm, and we don't want to play that way. And they want to obviously, but maybe just to play a little bit faster. It's going to help us.
Third row on the right, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Nicola, it seemed like the BAM and the screen and roll was giving you a lot of problems as a team. The ability to, sometimes you're up on the screen, sometimes you're back. They kind of had counters for all of those. What kind of challenges does that pose, and was that an issue in the fourth quarter for you?
I mean, of course, they have a really good team and really good players, and we need to adjust. So it depends of the skill set of the player. Sometimes we are up, sometimes we are down the floor. I mean, I think that everybody is doing that in the league. So we just need to be there for early and then make an extra effort, I think.
Any other questions? Vinny on the second row over there.
Vinny Benedetto with the Denver Gazette. Nicola, Coach Malone mentioned your tremendous close to the third quarter. I think you had a couple physical buckets inside, then you got out and ran. What stands out to you about that stretch you had late in the third?
I mean, just a good stretch, of course. Seems like I just get going and I was just trying to score. Simple as that.
All the way in the back, last row.
Katie Wingy, Altitude TV. Nicole, what can you guys do differently defending the three-point line? They obviously didn't hit their open looks in game 1, but tonight they did.
Yes, of course, they score 17 threes. They shoot 48%, which is really, really good, of course. Just I think be disciplined. Just if someone is running from him off, or just maybe, I think the discipline is the key for us. If you're not disciplined, if we're gonna have a breakdowns, it's not gonna be a long series, of course. But just because they're punishing you as soon as you make mistakes, so hopefully we're gonna be disciplined for next game.
We'll go back right, and then Mike. Last question here in the front.
Nicola, what was sort of the mood when you guys got in there, knowing that effort was kind of one of the main issues? What was sort of the mood when you all huddled up in there?
I don't. Can I not answer this question? Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Mike, right here in the front.
Nicola, Mike Singer, Denver Post. You guys have not lost at home in the postseason. How do you expect you will handle what really amounts to the first adversity you guys have seen this postseason?
I mean, we know that that's not going to happen. Like, of course, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and especially in the playoffs, where every game is different, every game matters, which is normal. we didn't want to lose, but we lost. So hopefully we're gonna go there and win the next one.
Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure to call this.
That's it for tonight. Safe.
We're gonna start off on the left side, fourth row.
Bam. Paulo Antunes, ESPN Brazil. A popular narrative before this series started was how Denver was maybe going to have a physical advantage in the paint. And it seems like you've really played well here in these last two games, right? 26 points in game one. Had some very important plays in today's game. Do you feel like you come into this series with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder? Everybody talking about Nikola Jokic and how he's going to dominate the paint and everything?
My bad. They got moths here. Biggest thing for us is we've heard all the noise throughout the whole playoffs. Biggest thing for us, we have a will, we have a belief, and we keep finding ways to win.
Right side, second row.
Bam, Tyler King, Denver Gazette. We've seen this lineup before with Caleb starting. Obviously, it was what you guys used early in the postseason. But going from game one to game two, how much did you feel the difference early on, just having his size out there? I know he only played 22 some minutes tonight, but overall, how impactful was he for you guys?
I mean, K-Love's impactful even when he's not in the game. You can come to the bench, he's always talking to you, telling you what he sees. You know, K-Love's been here, 5 times? 4 times? So he's seen everything but the win at this point. So, the biggest thing for us is I'm glad he's on our team. He gives us that extra energy, that extra spark, whatever we need, and, he's all hands on deck.
Right side, fifth row, Tim Reynolds.
Bam, Tim Reynolds, AP. Yes, I know. Please roll your eyes. Spo talked when he was in here a little while ago about obviously you have the toughest defensive assignment in the series, but you have enormous offensive responsibility too. How much do you look at this as maybe the most important 7 games of your career, just given that he is an incredible tough cover, but this team, your team is best when they're running offense through you and you're a big part of the offense as well. And it's tough to do both at the same time.
I mean, this is the finals. This is what we live for. This is the opportunity that we have. This is the opportunity that we don't want to let slip away. So, biggest thing for me, man, I go out there, I play with a will, I play with passion, and I try to leave it all on the court.
We're going to stay on the right side, fourth row.
Anthony Chang, Miami Herald. This is not Gabe's first big performance in these playoffs. What do you think he's proven during this run?
Undrafted players can start in the finals, be productive, and it doesn't mean anything that he's undrafted. He's giving guys who are going through his path or down that road of, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this, and he's carving a space for himself, and I feel like a lot of people are going to know who Gabe Vincent is.
Left side, first row.
Hey, Bam, Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. At what point did you realize Gabe Vincent was going to become as impactful as the players he has become for this team?
Man, when he torched us in the Olympics, in the exhibition game, facing Nigeria, he came out with that type of energy, that type of ferocity and that anger, and I feel like that's from there. I was like, nah, he's one of us.
We're going to stay to the left side, third row.
For moreheadheat.com, Bam, in game one, Jokic was efficient and he had his 14 assists. Tonight he got 41 points, but his assists were all the way down to 4. So is there anything you guys did differently to maybe dissuade the playmaking aspect of his game?
Just trying to take away the cuts. I feel like that's a big part of the offense, the cuts, because he's a great passer. Their cuts, he sees open guys, and just making them all try to take difficult shots.
Left side, fifth row.
Bam, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. In the fourth quarter, that 3-man game that you guys did on that left side seemed to produce a lot of open looks for you guys. Did you see something with Jokic guarding you where you sense that maybe you could take advantage of something, or you could see their defense being a little confused with it? Is there anything in particular, strategy-wise, that you saw that you knew would work for you?
We just made winning plays. We know they're going to try to stop Duncan from shooting threes. You know they're going to guard him. Then you have Jimmy slipping to the rim. And then I feel like I'm one of the great passers in this league. So just making plays down the stretch.
We're going to take one more question on the right side, fifth row. Tim Reynolds.
Again?
Sorry, Bam. I know he's done it a lot in your time with Miami, but UD grabbed Spo's chair at one point in the HUD and for a timeout tonight. When he does that, first of all, what was the message tonight, if you can repeat it in a PG-13 variety? And secondly, when he does that, obviously it has impact, but does he still pick his spots on when to play coach and when not to?
I wouldn't even say it's playing coach. I think it's just UD being UD. He's in that role now where he's a vet. He's sharing wisdom. Like, he's been in this league 20 years. He's won championships. He knows what it's like to be in these moments. So, to have a guy like that on your bench, it's more important than people think he is. And he doesn't change. He's going to be honest with you. He's going to say it like it is. So I can't even repeat what he said in the huddle because it'll just be a couple words. But he's so involved and so invested in us. He wants us to succeed. He wants us to have this great opportunity. He wants us to be successful.
Thanks, Ben.
That's it.
Travels to Miami every